Hello geometry students. In this video we are going to learn about the angles of triangles. Now hopefully you have already taken a look at the vocabulary, and just a reminder that we can classify triangles by their angles and by their sides. If a triangle is an acute triangle, then that means that it has all three angles are less than 90 degrees. If a triangle is a right triangle, then it has one angle that is exactly 90 degrees, and the other two are acute. If it's an obtuse triangle, then it has one angle that is greater than 90 degrees, and the other two would be acute. And there's also such thing as an equiangular triangle. That's when all three angles are congruent. We can classify by the sides. An equilateral triangle has all three sides congruent. An isosceles triangle has two sides congruent, and a scalene triangle has no sides congruent. So they're all different values in an isosceles triangle. Okay, now we're going to learn about the angles of triangles. We're going to find the measures of missing angles in a triangle and exterior to a triangle, both numerically and algebraically. So the first idea is this triangle angle sum theorem, and chances are this is not new to you. You've probably learned this before. The sum of the measures of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. And I'd like to show you a little, a neat little thing about this triangle right here. If we were to take our three angles of the triangle, A and B and C, if we could move those around and put them next to each other, you would see that they would form a straight line, which is 120 degrees. So I'm going to move this right now. I've got a copy of angle C. I'm just going to move it right over there. And I've got a copy of angle B. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to rotate that. And what happens when we do these is you can see that when we put angle A and angle B and angle C together, then we do in fact get that straight line. They form a linear triple, and so they make 180 degrees. So our big idea, the three interior angles of a triangle add up to be 180 degrees. So let's find some missing measures. Well, when we have numbers, then all we have to do is add up our values and subtract from 180. And we could do this with algebra or with just using our calculator. In the first one right here, we've got this angle right here. This is 90 degrees. So 90 plus 32 plus this missing value right here, x, is 180. If we add up the 90 and the 32, then we get 122, and when we subtract that from 180, then we get our missing angle is 58 degrees. You can either use algebra or you can use Desmos for this. On problem number 2 over here, we have this 37 degrees and this 22 and this x all add up to be 180 degrees. When we add the 37 and the 62, we get 59. And when we subtract that 59 from 180, we get 121 degrees. Again, you can use algebra on that, or you can just plug that straight into Desmos. Well, that's well and good when we know the measures, but what if we have problems where we have to solve for x? Well, we're just going to use some algebra. We have two problems right here. We're going to solve for x. We're going to find the measure of each angle of the triangle and then classify the triangle by its angles. So, in problem number 3, we have triangle PQR. That's the symbol for a triangle. It's a little triangle PQR. The measure of angle P is 3x plus 12, which we have down here. The measure of angle Q is 4x plus 7, which is right here. And the measure of angle R is 5x plus 5. We could do this problem with a picture or without a picture, but what we know is that the measure of all three angles add up to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to use my colors just because it's fun to use my colors. Angle P is 3x plus 12. That's this one right here. So we know that the measure of angle P plus the measure of angle Q, which is 4x plus 7, and our third one, angle R, is 5x plus 5. That's over here. Sorry, that should be a plus. Measure of angle R equals 180. So, just plugging in what we know, angle P is 3x plus 12, and angle Q is 4x plus 7, and angle R is 5x plus 5, when we add those values up, we get that magical number for triangles, 180. So I am going to solve this one using a little bit of algebra, and then I'm also going to use Desmos for it. When we combine our like terms, 3x's plus 4x's plus 5x's gives us 12x's. And when we combine 12 and 7 and 5, we get 24. 12x plus 24 equals 180. And when we subtract that 24, we get 12x equals 156. We divide by 12, then we get x equals 13. Now I'm going to go over to Desmos, and I'm going to enter that same equation and just show you once again how to use Desmos to solve your equation. Now you have to write the equation first. You have to be able to set up your equation right here. Let's just head over to Desmos and enter that in. I am going to put my equation right here. 3x plus 12 plus 4x plus 7 plus 5x plus 5 equals 180. And when we solve this, we don't see anything on this screen. It just means it's not between negative 10 and positive 10. But if we scroll over, then we see our vertical line right here where x equals 13. And that confirms that our answer to this problem is x equals 13. Okay, well this problem asked us to do three things: to solve for x, to find the measure of each angle of the triangle, and classify the triangle by its angles. So now that we have got that x is 13, we can find each of our angles by plugging them in. So the measure of angle P, that's actually, let me be consistent, let me keep it in the same color there. The measure of angle P is 3x plus 12. If we plug in our 13 right there, 3 times 13 plus 12 gives us 51 degrees. And the measure of angle Q, if we plug in our 13 right up there, 4 times 13 plus 7, that gives us 59 degrees. And for the measure of angle R, if we plug in 13, 5 times 13 plus 5, that gives us 70 degrees. If we add up those numbers, 51 plus 59 plus 70, we get 180 degrees. So we solve for x, we found the measure of each angle, and then last, classify the angle by its classify the triangle by its angles. All of these are less than 90 degrees, so this is an acute triangle. Now, one thing to note, I wrote angle P plus Q plus R equals 180. Doesn't matter what order we do these in, we just need to add up all three angles and set that equal to 180. Another problem very similar. Well, we want to solve for x, find the measure of each angle of the triangle, and classify by its angles. Now this time we don't have a picture, but that's okay. We don't need a picture. If you'd like, you can draw a picture. Doesn't matter what you make your triangle look like. You can, if you like to have that visual, feel free to draw yourself a picture. But we've got angle J is 12x plus 1, and angle K is 3x, and angle L is 10x minus 46. All three of them together add up to be 180. So 12x plus 1 plus, next one is 3x, plus my third angle, 10x minus 46 equals 180. Now, if we want to use algebra, we could combine these. 12x plus 3x plus 10x makes 25x. Plus 1 and minus 46 gives us a negative 45 equals 180. If we add 45 to both sides, we will get 25x equals 225. And when we divide by 25, we get x equals 9. Or we could use Desmos for this. If you just go plug in this equation right here into Desmos, then you will get your value of x equals 9. So we solved for x. Now let's find the measure of each angle of the triangle. Measure of angle J is 12x plus 1. If we plug in 9, 12 times 9 plus 1, that gives us 109 degrees. When we solve for angle K, measure of angle K equals 3x. 3 times 9, that's 27 degrees. And measure of angle L, when we plug in 10 times 9 minus 46, that gives us 44 degrees. So we found the measure of each angle and classify the triangle by its angles. Since we have one angle here that is larger than 90 degrees, this is an obtuse triangle. So x equals 9. Our angles are 109, 27, and 44, and we have an obtuse triangle. Okay, the second part of our lesson today. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause there. We're going to pause with that one with the angle sum theorem, and we'll make a separate video for the exterior angle sum theorem.